Nick, your favorite wrestler from the 80s?
What a loaded question.
Oh, wow, you're taking on this one.
My favorite?
Gun to your head. 3, 2,
$1 Million Man,
1.
Ted DiBiase.
Wow. Because you brought Stone Cold on the scene?
No, actually, because he literally lived that lifestyle. So I read a book on him. and
He's like, so I wrote his own biography.
Vince McMahon said, I want you in character. Here you go. Gives him a credit card with an unlimited amount. So like he literally went the $1 million belt. He went to.
Yeah, well, the other wrestlers are going to be really pissed.
I'd be pissed.
So
why am I called Duke the Dumpster?
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, they were upset, but in the book, it said how Vince told him basically, if you don't do this for me, if you don't turn over and get the reaction I want, you'll be paying.
Oh.
So, but he knew. I mean, based on his family, his family lineage, Iron Mike DiBiase, like his dad was in. I mean, he was just. And how he came up and like the kid would bounce the ball. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
I've never forget that.
There was an episode where the kid bounced the ball. He says, "You can't bounce the ball 10 times. I'll give you this lot of money or whatever."
I'll give you 20
or no, it was like $100 or something. It was ridiculous. And then the kid bounces it. He just walks up, kicks the ball. He goes, "Oh!"
Actually, he's right. The kid actually was a real.
This is a real kid.
Yeah. Like you see, he goes, "Oh, sorry, you can't do it." And the kid's like sad. I'm like, this is horrible.
But the kid wound up like.
What was that on?
It was on like Saturday Night or something. You can YouTube it.
Video, it's actually hilarious. He goes, boom. And the kid's like in shock, like, yeah, I can't believe you did that.
That's great. Funny. Alright, yo! What's up, guys? My name is Chris Tutela, once again, alongside my good friend, colleague, creepy co-host,
Ruben Borges.
And on today's show, we have another special guest, Slick Nick Reinhold. Nick, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, guys.
What's going on, Nick? How you doing?
Good. Great. And this is episode 36, I believe. Is that what we decided? Episode 36. Well, welcome to 36-ish of TTS Talk. So, Nick, first of all, you've been training here for how long now?
So I joined a shred challenge in May. Okay. And then I came on full board in August. And since then, straight through.
August last year.
Yeah. So I did May to June.
Yes.
To the beginning of July. I was on vacation. Then I joined up in August.
Got it. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome, man. So let's start off with this. What brought you through our doors? What was the driving force to make you participate in that 28-day challenge or program that we ran? What was the driving force that made you take the plunge and jump in on that?
Our phone conversation.
Okay.
So you may or may not remember. You get a lot of them. But you were in California.
Okay.
At the time when I called you.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, call this number. And I was, when I saw the original posting for it, it was you talking, and I was like, okay. So I called, and you answered. And I was like, oh wow, it's really him. And I told you were like. I know you said, not everybody is able to do this. So let me ask you a few questions, to see if you'd be a good fit. Because, and which right away told me something, because I knew, okay, they're clearly not after, my money. They're not just looking for, whatever, because literally I got to like pass this test. So I got kind of nervous. I'm like, all right. So, and as a teacher, I'm like, this is what it feels like.
You're in test mode.
So you asked me, what are your goals and things like that, and I told you, and I said, I want to get in shape. I feel a little lost when I go to the gym. I feel like I'm doing the same exercises. I have lower back problems, and I need to get through them and figure out what's going on. And you said, all right. And before you know it, I was here for the orientation, and the orientation was amazing. It was a great connection. I think there was 8 of us, and I think all 8 of us stayed on.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 not, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And, the gains have been amazing, and I've never felt better.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So for you, it was kind of like there was some confusion for you going to the gym, like you didn't really know what was going on. You had these back issues that you were dealing with, and you needed a way to kind of figure out how to train without hurting yourself even further. So since then, how has your back responded? How have you responded? Like, your body, I mean, like how do you feel in our program?
So when I used to go to the gym, I used to go and do the same exercises and I went every other day. I would go do my arms, I would do occasional leg, and I would do, your chest, because you want the pump, right?
Who does?
But I was like, I see people squatting. I'm like, no thanks. That looks hard.
Yeah.
Like, and they're grunting. I'm like, no. So I would be all in on the curls and stuff like that. And I was having back problems, but a little did I realize now that I've joined, my back problems were because I never worked my back.
Right.
And I was so tight. So when I did my very first back exercise here, I was like, oh my God, I can't move. Like, I'm thinking, great, my back's going out again. And it turned out that it wasn't going out. I was stretching it and exercising it and giving it blood flow and mobility that I never had before.
Yeah, right.
So when I first started, and it was great because, the coaches, you guys said, okay, let's do a variation, let's start slow. And, I was doing something completely different than a lot of other people because of that issue. But I've worked through it, and now, knock on wood, since I've started, it's been great.
Knock on
And
wood,
to touch up on that, you were because you first said that you didn't know what to do with the game, right? Like, you walked to the gym, not sure what you're going to do, and then about the lower back pain. Now you come in, you feel a little bit, and sometimes we tell like a lot of our members and just everyone, it's good to know. Sometimes it's good to get over the mental barrier. So it's almost like, man, I want to deadlift right now, but man, I felt my lower back. You know what, before, because if you're not mentally ready to do it right, that's how we can kind of have an injury or so. So we worked the pattern first. We had a suitcase RDL movement, and when you were doing it, you were feeling confident there, and I saw that happening. Then we started going heavier weight, loading the movement. Then he started getting there, and one day I was like, hey, how are you feeling? I gave you the choice. And I remember you're like, yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's warm up on it. And you did, and I just saw your mental, it just flipped the switch, and I was like, Nick's ready for this. You did it, and I remember you come, dude, felt great, I felt awesome, and like, sometimes just to let people know out there, like, first get mentally in there. Sometimes, or even as a coach, if you see someone just not mentally there yet, get them mentally there first before we get them either under the bar or into a more advanced lift, because sometimes it might not be the form that blocks them or anything like that, and maybe they have the capability of doing it, but if they're not mentally there yet, hey, just let them be ready. And once they're ready, you came in full throttle, and then from there, I think you gained like 10 pounds of muscle in like 2 months.
Yeah, one of the most amazing things I want to point out, and I don't think it's said enough, is that when you come into this facility, and you have your coaches, and the first time I came, it was me and 10 other guys. Mm-hmm. And clearly those guys were all seasoned. Mm-hmm. And I walked in, and it was a little intimidating because it's your first day, and coming in, and
5 a.m. too, it's loud.
Yeah. Well, when PK's here, it's always loud. But yeah, no, one of the most amazing things were that I came in, and as soon as I came in, hey Nick, how are you? How's your back? You're okay? All right, this is what we're doing today. Let's see how you feel. Let's warm up. If not, we'll do the variation. And everybody else could have been deadlifting, and I was doing suitcase RDLs. Mm-hmm. And it never phased. Like, it didn't make me feel like a standout. It didn't. Right. Because I knew that this is what I had to do to reach the goal of getting to where other people were. Yeah. But I also knew that it was based on my fitness goals. Mm. But we were there to encourage each other as a team. Mm. And in my first day, within the first 15 minutes, people were already saying, come on, Nick, you got it. And it just from that time, it was like, I'm going to do this.
You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. The adrenaline just went up a whole notch. The testosterone was pumping. It was good. It was great. And it's a feeling that I wish more and more people were able to get, because I feel that it would definitely help with all the issues we have in America with the obesity and people not, taking care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And as a teacher, as a father, as someone who lost their father at a young age from being not healthy.
Right.
I see it, and I even try and express the message that here to my students. And they're only in 5th grade.
Yeah.
But it's so important that they learn this now, because I don't want them to make the same mistakes that we see day in and day out outside.
That's amazing, man.
That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
I think it's a great point, too, because, a lot of people may be, and we talk about this all the time, if they're intimidated or they don't really know and they think people are judging them. But if you go into the right facility, you're going to get all the support in the world. You're going to get coaching and all that. So talk about that for a second. Like, as far as your confidence, too, just as a person, like, how has that changed for you since, before you walked in here day one until now, a year and some change later?
So let me just preface, when I came in, I wasn't an overweight guy. You
Right.
know, I just wanted to get in more shape. I wanted to feel better. You know, so I don't want to emphasize that. But even at that point, like, I would go out with my family. We'd go to the beach, we'd go to the pool, and I just didn't feel comfortable with myself, even taking my shirt off. Everybody'd be like, who cares? You know, but it was
we talked about that.
it was a personal thing.
Yeah.
It was a personal thing. Like, I just didn't feel good.
Right.
You know, and I went to the gym, you know, didn't realize I was doing it wrong, but I went to the gym and you know, I was running and doing all this stuff and, you know, kind of watching what I was eating, nothing crazy, but having, you know, the coaching and having this team, the family, the TTS family is what really put me over, and it just built my confidence. So it built me personally. It helped my confidence as a teacher, as a husband, as a father, and even as a son, you know, because I'm trying to do what I can to encourage my mother and my stepfather, you know, my father, essentially, to, you know, live the same lifestyle and have the highs that I have, because they're like, you know, you sound so different, you know, you're happier, and I'm like, yes, because I'm happy. Like you said, you guys preach this all the time, whether it's the Iron Life podcast or whether it's on TTS Talk. You have to be happy within yourself for everything else to be happy around you.
Right.
You know, and if you surround yourself with good people, like every morning when I'm here 3 days a week at 5 a.m., I know people think it's crazy, but we are the happiest group of people you can imagine.
Yeah. You come in, you guys are ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, as long as the soundtrack is good.
Oh, and that's a huge point too, is that you have to look internally too. I think a lot of people, you know, if they are going through a depression, or if they're upset about something, or if they're looking for a life change, I think a lot of people look at the wrong things and think, if I buy this new car, things will change and get better. If I, you know, get this new watch that costs $10,000, not that this watch didn't cost $10,000, but if I get this new watch that costs $10,000, all of a sudden my life is going to be so much different. But in actuality, those things, they don't mean anything. You know, sure, if you have the luxury to purchase and that stuff makes you happy, great. Like, but it's only going to be temporary. Like, the true happiness and those feelings that you're talking about, that's coming from inside. That's coming from you. And in my opinion, you know, well, this is a fact. Human beings are tribal by nature, right? So when we are outside of that tribal type of environment, and you're isolated like most people are during the day and work, whatever, and you're in isolation, it's very hard to actually feel fulfillment, to feel happy. But when you're in a place like this is your opportunity to work alongside your brothers, sisters, to achieve a common goal, right? So fitness is just something where, hey, this is a common thing that we all share, and we're going to work together to achieve better health, better fitness, strength, whatever. So you're getting that community, that camaraderie. That speaks volumes on so many different levels. And I just wanted to address that because, you know, based on what you're saying, you're feeling that. You're living proof of that. And tell me what you think. What are your thoughts on that?
So, and you know, coming here today to do this, one thing I wanted to emphasize is that I was never in an Army, a Navy, an Air Force. I wasn't in any of the armed forces.
Right.
But I could only imagine when you see those guys share, and female, male, female, when you see them share, you know, like they have that special bond, like those are your quote unquote brothers.
Right.
Like those are the guys you take to war with you. That's how I feel about the people I work out with.
Right.
Like, these are the people I would bring to war with me. These are the people I would want behind me, because we're all so different. We all have such different lifestyles. You know, whether it's the age, whether it's jobs, whether it's families, what interests, doesn't matter. We're all different. But when we're here, it's a pure, you know, it's like a hurrah. You know what I mean? Like, it's whether it's the, you know, the clap up at the beginning or whether it's our chant at the end, and it's just, we're all here. I swear, I give more pounds in an hour here than I think I've done my whole last 3 years of my life. Like I'm pounding my students now. Like they're like I did. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. They're like even the girls. The girls like,
I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah. Like it's so funny, and it's natural.
Yeah, that team camaraderie thing just goes such a long way. Like just from growing up, it's one thing we hear about athletes, right? When athletes retire, They know, hey, what do you miss most about the game? They always say, and talk what Chris was talking about, that tribe, that culture. I miss the locker room. I miss that camaraderie with the guys and things like that. And that's why we like to have that here with strength training, because you guys all have the same goal, right? Same goal in mind. You put anyone in between the lines or inside of a gym together, this guy could have this interest, that interest, and it totally probably doesn't even work, and it's not even the same world. But when you're here training together, this fist bump happens, and it's like crazy. If two people they would never do it on the outside, but they do it in here because you're sharing that common interest, that common goal, whether they be stronger or confidence. And I know that's one thing you were saying about with confidence, and you did. I think that's what your family sees now. Your friends, when they see you, they're like, man, this is like you're walking through that curtain. It's like, there he is.
And there's no judgment. That's the other thing. When you walk in here, we're all different shapes and sizes. You know what I mean? Whether it's gender, it doesn't matter. There's no judgment. Nobody looks at the way, and they're like, no, nobody ever does that. And that's because we are true.
So you started training here, and then you realized first that that you're not going to get people judging you here. You guys are going to work together to achieve a common goal, and how important that is.
Right. And another thing I learned too, and this is a hard truth that we all, I think everybody suffers from. It's you want results tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yesterday.
And right. Yeah. Like, again, I'm going to go back to your podcast and other times you guys have both spoken here. There's not a magic pill. There's no magic anecdote that's going to you're going to go to bed and all of a sudden you're going to wake up and you're going to have a six-pack and your veins are going to be bulging out. Like, it's not realistic. Yeah. And I think the key is, by you guys saying that, it takes time. Like, you'll get there, all the time when I'm like, I just want to, I want to keep improving this. Patience. Slow down. Patience. You'll get there, right? You'll get there. And I have to say, it's totally paid off. And I love that I'm doing this naturally, and I'm doing it by strength training 3 days a week. I'm not going to the gym people tell me, I'm going to the gym 6 days a week, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need it. You really don't. If you do it right, you don't need it. And by doing it right, and they're there for 3 hours, and you say, 45 to 60 minutes, 2 to 4 days a week.
Yep.
As long as you're getting a little bit of everything, you're good to go.
As long as you're programming correctly and you're doing the right things, and
right. And that's the nice thing is I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
When I come in and it's like, this is what we're doing. The only thing I dread is leg day.
Right.
But again, you got to be there.
Right. But it's almost. But you know what?
That's what gets you, because you don't want to let the other guys down, right? I mean, that's a big part.
But there's nothing more satisfying than being done with leg day. Like, when you're done with leg day, absolutely. You can't walk the next day, but it's good. And again, this is just part of this culture that's built here. When it's part of the TTS family, it's part of how we are, and it's just I'm proud to say it's how we are.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You see it growing just a little bit. Everyone has each other's back. We have a couple of members. Shout out to Manzo and Matt, Medieval Matt. They're going to I don't want to screw it up. I know it's not a Tough Mud or a Spartan race, but
it was something, a mud run, something. I forgot what it's called.
And I believe Matt put it up, and then Mendel's like, I'll do it. He's like, anybody want to do this? Mendel's like, I'll do it, and they're doing it this Saturday.
Yeah.
That's this Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're excited to do it. They're going to join that, but that's what's awesome there. Just, the camaraderie there, talking, even you, Nick, talking. He was like, hey, when's your next game? I had a big baseball Sunday men's league game with the UNAs, and come by, show support, all that. It was awesome. It was just nice to talk to you, see your son, see your family there, and that's what we share here that is truly special. It's a special bond.
Barbecues, nights out, Christmas parties, charity events, fundraisers, like everything that we do here, it's a big part of that. And we always talk about it, like, we set out in the very early stages, like saying that when people walk through our doors, we want this to be a home away from home. And it's not just about fitness. Like, that fitness obviously is a big part of it. But this is something where we want you to feel like, man, this is my home. This is, this is as comfortable here as it is when I walk through my own doors, my own house, and that's something that we really strive for always.
Right. And what's so funny, when I first said I want to start getting into more of a close, like a personal training, and this was before, we had met. And I honestly am so happy. A lot of people be like, I don't want group training. I'd rather have a one-on-one.
Yeah.
And now, being in the group, I would never want one-on-one.
Right.
Because of that system, because of the team you have. Like, there's nothing better than you're on a, whether you're on a challenge or whether you're on a set with somebody, you're spotting somebody, and you both just hit some huge goals, and
Right.
you benched more than you ever could, or you did a press that, better than you ever could. And you have someone to celebrate that with, someone who's pushing you. A trainer's like, you come in, you do your thing, it's one-on-one. But when you have different guys working with you and different, just, I don't know, like I said, it's like that team, and it's more to share with. Like, and its thing is, it's not just about fitness,
Right.
I've spoken to you about, personal goals.
Right.
Outside of fitness.
Yeah.
And, that was huge to me. Like, just shooting you a text, like, hey, Chris, do you have a second? I want to talk to you for a minute.
Yeah.
And it was just great to have another figure, to just run over that with. And ever since then, it was a huge help, because it helped me on another piece of my life that has nothing to do with fitness. Like, you could have been like, dude, I'm a trainer. Whatever you need, whatever, yeah, that sounds good. You should do that.
Right.
Yeah, all right, But no, we were on the phone for, I think, 45 minutes. You were right. It was like right before you had to go to a meeting, and you still gave me the time.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. How do you get that anywhere else?
Right.
You're not gonna.
Yeah, and then you seem a lot to say with the team, which is awesome, because that's like kind of what we always like talk about. Because yeah, sure, if you're training by yourself, you kind of get working, but there's something different where, like, if you're going, now somebody else is going. Let's say we're hitting mountain climbers for 30 seconds, hitting rounds of that. When you see that one guy next to you doing it, it's like, I'm not stopping.
Right.
He's going too, and it's like, that's the part of almost, I have his back, I'm gonna keep going with him.
Right, like this morning, like even this morning, with Josh, I spot him.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, let's go, come on. Like, I went right here to spot. And he's like, no, you gotta do the road. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go over there.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just like boom, boom, boom.
Just to keep like the pace going, and it kind of just keeps you moving. But sometimes you might subconsciously want to give yourself that extra 30 seconds. It's like, oh, yeah, that's right, I'm up. Let me go. Here we go.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great push. Yeah.
And just to touch on what you were just saying, so like, something that I always, whether it's on my podcast or here or whatever, like something I always preach, and I learned this from my own experiences, is that fitness is just the gateway to a different life, right? But if you have goals outside of fitness, like, you should still, the first thing you should prioritize, in my opinion, that's your nutrition. Get your nutrition in check, because if you're eating like crap, your nutrition is never going to be, your nutrition is never going to be.
It's in the dictionary.
If your nutrition is off, then you are never going to have that mental clarity. You're always going to kind of have that brain fog, that fatigue. As far as strength goes and training with resistance training, look what's happened with you. Like you said, all these things. Your confidence has improved. You're functioning at a higher level all around, dude, which is so amazing to see.
Yeah.
Because it's with running the business and seeing people come through our doors, like I see you I don't see you that often, right? Because I'm not at those 5 a.m. training sessions. So because at this point the business has grown, there's more stuff to do. So the thing is, when I see you from the point when you first walked in here until now, a year and change later, it's like, dude, it's like talking to a different human being, and it gives me goosebumps, man. That's what it really gets me excited.
But again, that's a product of what you guys set out to do.
Yeah.
And I became a teacher to educate.
Right.
Right. But I'm doing it on the younger level.
Right.
For my reasons, for my personal reasons, why I chose that level. Being a positive male role model.
Right.
Which, just so you know, it goes a long way. I worked in the educational system for a while, but like at that age, for young kids to see that, they remember. I believe in those elementary school teachers, middle school teachers, that sits with them. And little things that you do, it goes a long way. And it's why we take pride in what we do as coaching, but even as teachers, you guys are even coaches yourselves.
And that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So it's like, I explain to my students, like, I have coaches and teachers too.
Right.
And it's not at a college or university, but it's at another place to help me become better. And I explain this to them, and they're like, wow. Because sometimes they forget you're real people.
Right.
I'm not born with the name Mister.
Right.
I got a whole birth certificate with 3 names on it.
Right.
Right. And again, it's so important. And yeah, when people ask me, you know, how do you do? You know, or they say to me like, you know, they'll have my family order pizza, right? And I'll be like, no, I'm good. You know, I'll order salad, or I'll you know, whatever. I'll just have something else. No big deal. You know, they're like, why do you do this to yourself? Well, like they're acting like I'm doing something wrong.
It's actually the other way around. It's like, why are you doing that to your
well,
child?
and that's it. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I detest pizza and will never eat it again.
I understood.
You know, but see, I'm one of those people.
Make
where,
pizza and ice cream sandwiches.
Right, all day. But and it's like a lot of people say like, and they almost like roll your eyes at you.
Right.
But at the same time, I know if I do eat those 2 slices of pizza afterwards, I'm just not going to feel good about it.
Right.
You know, unless it's a
Planned
designated time that
Yes.
you know, it's not, or if you're on vacation or things like you got to live your life totally. You know, but you know, even with the alcohol, you know, you never realize, you know, whether you got a glass of wine or you know whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. But for me, watching people, like I don't judge anybody. Like that's just not me.
Right.
You know, that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you shouldn't judge anyone.
No.
The whole thing is, a lot of times, and this is, you know, unfortunate, you'll get judgment.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm
doing
saying.
well. And that's my point. Is like
I feel like I'm getting judged that I'm judging people. Like, oh, what? You're too good for us. You're not going to have this pizza.
Yeah.
No,
I
didn't tell you not to eat the pizza.
Right. It's like this is just what I'm doing. I didn't tell you to do a thing. Like if you want to eat the pizza, right? But you're going to get that a lot. But from family, from coworkers, from friends, whoever. But the whole thing is this: no matter how much crap you get from that, right? What you're doing is impacting them more than they might know it, more than you might know it, because if they ever need a hand, you're going to be the guy that they ask because they see you doing it, right? And that might not be right away, right? But I've witnessed this firsthand, you know, over the 14 years that I've been coaching and dieting and training myself, is that you get crap from people, you know, they'll bust your chops a little bit, but then fast forward, those are always the people that be, dude, I need to lose a couple pounds. Like, can you help me out a little bit? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
and I'm busting your chops up, but seriously, man.
yeah.
It just comes up.
Right, because most of the time, like let's be honest, when you eat poorly, most of the time, diabetes, obesity, increased risk of cancer, inflammation, brain fog, fatigue, right? You have all these issues, low testosterone, so low sex drive. You have these things that come into play due to poor nutrition. So for you to lead by example and potentially help those people when they're ready for it, that is an amazing thing, because all those things I just mentioned, by you doing what you're doing and leading by example, that could help those people overcome those issues as well and potentially change their lives.
I mean, what I honestly, I just give them your number.
Well, thank you.
That's the best thing I could do for them, because like
908-868-6158.
Can you put that on the bottom right now?
It's like after explaining all that.
But seriously, and people do ask me like, oh, you know, what exercise are you doing at the gym? And I'm just like, I'm doing a bunch, you know, because I don't want to. I give people, you know, if people say to me, you know, if people ask me what I'm doing, I'll tell them what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not a nutritionist.
Right.
I follow what my coaches tell me and what we'll do to help me. I talk to my doctor, making sure that my blood work is good and you know, iron and all that stuff is good. But really, I just tell them, you know, like, you know, I don't count calories. I just eat the things that are natural. I try to stay away from the obvious. I stay away from a lot of flour. I stay away from a lot of sugar. You know, you can compensate. You know, you don't need to eat a lot of bread. You know, just like little things like that.
And what have your results been like since you started doing that?
Well, I mean, I have digestive. Like, I've been great. I used to get like heartburn here and there. No heartburn.
Yeah.
It's just very, you know, energized.
Right.
Especially with making sure I'm consuming. I drink the greens and stuff like that.
Right.
Eating my vegetable per day, and again, having a 2-year-old, it does make it a little tough sometimes, because you know, the kid's favorite word is cookie. Like, that's literally his favorite word, cookie.
I mean, my top.
Mine too.
Yeah. Like, you know, and he's obsessed with Cookie Monster. So like, I come home, he says, "Daddy, hi, cookie." Like that's it. I'm like, okay. And then I give him one, and then he goes, "Daddy, cookie?" I'm like, "How do you say no to that?"
Yeah.
So I'm guilty of it too.
Sure.
But overall, just the feeling healthy. Like when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're like, it's a good day.
Yeah.
You don't have that remorse feeling. Oh, I shouldn't have had that last night.
Yeah.
Because I know with all the work that I've put in, with all the work that you guys have taught me, I know that if I do, have a night out and I do get a couple slices of pizza and an appetizer or whatever, I know that one day it's not going to ruin me.
Because right back on the horse.
Right, exactly. I mean, our body, it doesn't take as much time to ruin something as it is to gain, or vice versa. It's whatever it is. It's easier to build versus.
And you're so consistent, and that's something that you do so well, and that's why you had that one night. You're gonna be right here Monday morning. Get ready to work. Have your your notebook ready. All that. One thing I just want to say, it's been great seeing you come in. First, learn the movements, right? And you told me your goals. You wanted confidence, and it went from you just getting stronger, getting leaner, getting a little bit of confidence, to you are one of the leaders here.
To the warrior of the month.
Warrior of the month.
Warrior of the month of July.
Like, I know where you're here, and and we constantly say this. You guys hear us in the previous shows, say it with other members. But Nick, you're another one too. I mean, you're here. I know. All right, hey guys, this is hey Nick, this is a new member here, or is this first week? You make them feel right at home. They look up to you. Now, when they see you work, when you give them that fist bump, they're kind of, man, cool, wow, I feel a part of this crew here, part of this team. So a lot of what you explain on how we roll as a team and how things are going, it's a lot because of you. And guys like you, thank you for bringing what you bring to the table and being coachable, and what we coach you, how you help us around, and you're coaching others too on the side. It goes a long way, and I'm sure you're doing it at the school. It seems like you're even helping these kids out too, the same way.
One at a time, I'm trying.
That's it, man.
Dude, well, Nick, I have to say again, just to add to that, it truly is inspiring to see how far you've come, to see what people are truly capable of, to really see that and see what you went through emotionally, and just from everything from start until now. It's really, it's like I said earlier, it's like talking to a different human being, man. So kudos to you, congratulations.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, dude. And thank you again for coming on the show and doing this today. And anything else? So let me ask you this. Let's finish off with this. If there is one piece of advice that you could give to somebody watching this right now, who is sitting on the fence, maybe thinking about joining our program, or maybe another program out there, right? Maybe they don't live nearby, so that maybe they're out of state, but they're sitting on the fence, kind of like you were, like they're going to the gym, but they feel like they're going through the motions. They're not making real progress. They're thinking about it, but they don't feel like, they're just nervous about it or whatever. Something's holding them back. What piece of advice would you give that person in regard to their health and their fitness?
So, in simple words, I would just say, if you have even one inkling of wanting to change, then just jump right in. Don't do the wait till Monday stuff. Don't say, I'm going to start tomorrow. Do it right now and at least try it. Because that's what I did. I said, I'm going to try it. I went in 50-50. Turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life. My first, marrying my wife. My second, choosing to have a child. And 3 is coming here.
Wow. That's powerful stuff, man. That's amazing.
Because all of those, coming here has made me a better father, and a better husband, and a better teacher. And just try it. What do you have to lose?
Right. Well, I don't think there's
See
a better
you at 5
way.
a.m.
Yeah. I don't think there's a better way to end the show than that.
Yeah, that was
so.
excellent. Yeah.
Guys, I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Nick, again, thank you for coming on, man. This was fantastic.
This was amazing.
And guys, if you have any questions for me, anything that I can help you with at all, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm at Chris_Tutela, Tutela. Also, check out my podcast. You could just go to the ironlifepodcast.com and you can check out all the past episodes. Episodes drop every Friday at midnight. Coach, where could these guys find you?
Guys, you can find me on Instagram at _Ruben, RUBEN, _Borges, BORGES. You can ask me any strength, health related questions, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Slick Nick, do you want to give your stuff away, or you like to stay under the radar?
I'll see you at 5 a.m.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you next week on another episode of
TTS Talk.
Catch you guys next week.
I should do like Macho Man.
Do it. Finish it off.
I'll catch you in another episode of TTS Talk.
Dude, that's a horrible Macho Man.
That was really bad. That was pretty awful.
Yeah. Sounded like
At least give like a rock eyebrow or something.
And I'll catch you in another episode of
That's horrible. Too.
Yeah,
Terrible
dude,
at this.
I'm off today.
Finish with Hogan.
All right. Let me tell you something, brother. We'll catch you in another episode of TTS Talk.